Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Live in Farming Simulator 22? It's Bose 831 Gaming on a Sunday morning instead of a Saturday night. My apologies first of all before we even get into it for the delay today. I indicated that we would be doing an unscheduled live starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, but due to some real life circumstances, I ended up not being able to start exactly on time, so we're starting a few minutes late. And again, my sincere apologies for that. Uh, but sometimes real life kind of steps in the way, kind of throws some different little things at you. But I am here, and I'm not exactly on schedule, but as close to it as I can get this morning. Uh, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. If you're tuned in, first of all, thank you for watching. As always, love you. I appreciate your support and hope that you continue to support me as we continue to grow. And just thank you for watching, first and foremost. Where we're on the ELM Creek farm in Farming Simulator 22. And I'm just continuing with my playthrough on this farm. As I kind of loosely discussed in previous in previous streams. At some point, we may consider moving to another farm, but that depends on the input I get from my community and also my own personal preferences. There are some other maps I want to look at, playing and just doing so I can do something different because I do play on some other maps in Farming Simulator 22. I'm an American player, and my preference is for American maps, but I also like to play on European maps because it's just a totally different experience than what we have here in the U.S. And so when I play on European maps, it's always kind of interesting because it's something new and very different from what we normally experience here in the U.S. So I almost always usually have simultaneous playthroughs on an American map and a European map or maps. And so I'd also kind of like to look at probably doing a live series on a European map just to kind of share that experience with the community. Anyways, where we are today, we're picking up almost exactly from where we left off on the last stream, except at this point in time, okay, that's kind of weird looking there, isn't it? Was that there before? What's this one? Industrial paper. I was like, okay, yes. Well, as I was saying before, I lost my train of thought there quickly. Picking up almost exactly where we left off. We were getting ready to. The only thing I did off camera is let's go ahead and hop to that real quick. I went ahead and picked up the corn harvester for harvesting my corn on field 42, and all right, stop that. Press the wrong button there. And I also went ahead and off camera tended to the animals, rode the horses, and all of that good stuff. And while we were doing that, as the time advanced, the calendar indicated that there would be rain today, and that's where we're at now. We're in the rain, so I can't do my corn harvest. Goodness, my tongue is very twisted this morning. We can't do the corn harvest right now due to the rain. So we're going to have to wait until the next day, and hopefully on day 2 in October, we'll be able to harvest the corn and move forward. So let's go ahead and do that now because I've already taken care of everything else I need to take care of today and move on to day 2 in October. So let's go hop over to the farmhouse. Boom. And go ahead and sleep. Sleep. All right. And we're on day 2 in October. Okay. And I went ahead and checked the loss on the vehicle leasing on the harvester. I already had it. I still would have had to pay the leasing cost to Use the harvester again on day 2. Guess what? We're still looking at rain here, so let's go to the calendar here and see if the calendar kind of tells us if this rain is going to let up today so that we can harvest this corn. Looks like it's supposed to let up by about 9 or 10 a.m. this morning. So, with that in mind, while we're waiting on the rain to kind of cut away, let's go ahead and, I guess, do some yard work while we're waiting on the rain to kind of slack up. All right, so let's go ahead and get our chickens fed. We'll go over here and dump some barley over here with the chickens real quick. And it also just occurred to me while I was looking at going back over my streams and my stream history. If you're new to Farming Simulator series and just tuning in, or you've been a wily veteran and whatever the case may be, I haven't really clearly indicated on my streams a lot of times what mods I'm using and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll be updating my streams with a mod list of the mods I use during my streams, and probably providing links to them on the mod hub so that you can kind of get a clear picture of what mods I've used in my game. Just the only areas where it might be a little fuzzy is in the game you can kind of go like here, go to your vehicles. Well, actually, when you go to your the in-game menu, there's a section for mods and DLCs, and this shows all of the mods that you have installed in whatever save game you have, but it doesn't specifically call out certain mods you may be using in the game itself. It just, these are all the ones that are in the entire game, say whether you have them purchased in the actual game itself or not. These are all the ones that you have installed in that particular save, if that makes any sense. Along with the official DLCs, and this list will always start with the official DLCs, which in this case we have the AGI pack, the Antonio Carraro pack, and the Class Zerion Saddle Track pack, which is a pre-order bonus. I have the whole season pass, year 1 expansion thing, so I got I get all access to all the DLCs. I went and paid for the full game and the access to the full DLC, the season year 1 season pass package. So I get access to all of the DLCs. But this is basically every mod I have. When you start the game, you could kind of select the mods that you wanted to have installed in the game, and these are all the mods that installed in the game. Keeping in mind that even if after you install the mods in the game, if you want to actually use most of the mods, well, actually all of the mods, you have to purchase them from the store in the game to actually use them in the game. You just having them installed alone doesn't make it to where the mods are automatically yours to use in the game. You still have to go buy them from the store or what have you. All right. That out of the way. Where were we? Alright, yeah. Trying to burn time until the weather clears up. Alright, next up we want to grab some seed to feed our greenhouses, which is also an example of one of the mods that I have installed in this game. I have the modded greenhouses that provide additional output, but they also require additional inputs. In this case, these require seed, fertilizer, manure, and they produce additional output at a higher rate than your standard greenhouses in the base game. And again, I will add the mod list to the description in my games when I upload them to YouTube. Because all of these Twitch lives I will eventually upload to YouTube, and you'll see the entire series on YouTube, and for the most part, uncut format. As I get my skill set up and get a little better at editing, and I'm able to afford more and tools and have access to better tools, and maybe even at some point purchase a capture card, you'll probably see improvements in the editing and whatnot. But that's all a learning process as well. I'm still kind of new to this, but I'm learning as I go along, and I'm going to get better each and every day and continue to produce some of the best quality content I can for you at this point in time. That's all part of the learning process as well. As I've also said in the past, we'll learn together and grow together and continue to have fun together. And so that's how we do here. Jose 31 Gaming. All right, got the siege knocked out. And again, I'm not gonna go the full OCD route and make sure each one of them is perfect. As long as I hit most of them, we'll be okay, because none of them will run out. As long as I'm topping off most of them, we're good there. That doesn't have to be perfect. Next up, let's go grab some manure. My manure is over at the other section of the farm, so we got to go drive over to that part of the farm. Let's go, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's rock. Again, we're just kind of doing busy work here in the yard while we're waiting for this rain to slack up and stop, so that we can harvest this corn without any penalty. All right, here we are. There's my manure pit. Go ahead and grab that, fill it up. And I'll just go ahead and fill it up to the max, because when I come back over here, I can just dump it into the mini BGA right there. And we're making money off it either way. As you can see, if you've been watching me since the beginning of this series, you know where we started at. And you can see where we're at now. We're actually doing very well. We're already up to a balance of $2 million, so we're doing very well. And I need to use that money towards purchasing and upgrading my equipment, and probably purchasing more land. I don't know if we're going to get into any of that today, because I really need to kind of think that out and plan that out, and I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to really get into that today, but I really need to think about that and kind of take the time and figure out how we want to expand our operations. We have enough money to do a lot of the things we want to do without having to borrow or take out loans with the bank. So that's always a good thing. And it took us a little bit to get there, but our operation is making good money now. Mostly due to the BGA, but it's still awesome that we're to a point now where the farm is making a steady profit now. And if I recall correctly, my mini BGA is probably loaded up with digestate right now, which we're going to take to the fertilizer production chain in order to produce fertilizer, which we can also sell at some point for even a greater profit, but also for use in my farm operations to save money there. So there are two ways we can have income and savings, which also increases our income with that whole digestate to fertilizer production chain that we have going. And those are also some other mods that I have installed. One thing I also kind of got away from that I still need to be checking is for my other production chains that are also ready, are in the correct months for sales, for the best sales prices too. And since I installed the production and logistics warehouse mod, I kind of keep forgetting about that. I still need to pay attention to that, to at least be mindful of when I can sell production chain products that are at their endpoint in their production chain and production process. And if you're totally confused about what I'm talking about, I'll show you here in just a second. Let's get back over here and dump off this manure into the mini BGA. Alright. This time we're not picking up, we're dropping off, and we're going to back over here to the mini BGA and just kind of dump that out. Alright, as I was referring to earlier, let's go to that production screen, production chain screen, and we're going to go down to, and we got a lot of issues here where we're going to need to work on and try to clean up here while we're on this slide. Alright, so we want to, because where you see all these red dots, these are all problems that I need to kind of figure out here. Alright, the pallet storage and logistics warehouse. These are all the products, all the incoming materials here. Now if we go down to the outgoing products, these are your finished products. And where I have products that are distributing, those products are outgoing products that go right into another production chain to feed that production chain. But in some cases you have finished products that can't go anywhere else, that they're the last thing that you can make or the end of that production chain. For example, here you have bread, that's the end product. Cake, that's the end product. Butter can be both. Really, all these products could be either or both, but in a lot of cases, I have them, if they can go into another production chain, I have them set as distributing. Cheese is a end product, and we have that for storing. Why do we have that for storing? That should be selling. Alright, that's what I missed. Alright, fabric. We don't really have, we're not doing any for fabric for right now, but at some point, if we do decide to do fabric production, that would be distributing, because fabric is not an end product. Fabric goes into clothes, and clothes would be storing or selling. For right now, we want that for storing because that's the end product. And I will wait and sell those products manually once we get to the month where they have the best price. Honey is set to distributing because that's a product in cereal. I think it's cereal. Cereal is the end product. We have that set to storing. All of your oils are end products, so they're all storing. Raisins is distributing because that's a part of cereal. Grape juice is an end product. Actually, we should probably set that to storing so that we can save that for the month when it has the best price as well. Lettuce, normally we could have these as the storing, but because I'm not going to manually do every production chain, manual sales for every production chains. I have my produce production chains all set to either selling or distributing. Selling for lettuce and tomatoes because they're end products. They don't go in any other productions. Strawberries go in cakes, and so that's why we have them distributing. But that's all that we also have an issue there because you see this chain is red. That's all maxed out. So we got to figure that out so we can get that to where that's not always maxed out like that. Chocolate, end product, storing. We're not doing any woodwork right now, so we don't have anything there. Now, since we're here and we have the time, let's take a look at some of these problems that we have going here. Industrial bakery is out of flour, so that's why this production chain is kind of dead right now. Alright, same thing with cake. Now, is my other bakery out of flour? Are both bakeries out of flour? Let's go take a look. We're going to go all the way back up to the top. That one still has flour. That's 22,000 liters of flour. Okay, and that's why that one's probably bottleneck, because we've already used all of our wheat and oat flour from the grain mill, so we can just turn those off momentarily until we get supply there. Now we maxed out in sugar cane and sugar, but I saw there was, as I was scrolling down, there were some other bottlenecks going on there. All right, and so we know why strawberries are bottleneck is because we got a bakery that's bottleneck, so we need to get that because this strawberry production is maxed out. I think that's the only one that's in the red right now, but that's because we have less demand than we are producing. Excuse me. And this sugar is maxed out, and that's in the warehouse. So what's this issue there? Sugar, where sugar is set, that should be distributing, right? All right, where we at on here? Sugar, yeah, that's on distributing. And sugar is maxed out, because that's produced in cake, and that goes back to the issue, the bakery issue we're having. So we have an issue here because we don't have enough to feed the industrial bakery to keep it going, to keep it producing product to demand some of the inputs that we need to keep them from being maxed out. So we need to produce. We need to have production producing enough so that the demand for those products that are currently bottlenecked due to the storage being full. So let's see here. Let me go and look at my silo. Do I have any? What I need to do is check my silo first of all to see what's in my silo and if I have any grain product I can distribute to the grain mill so that we can get the flour production back cranking out. Because right now the issue is I'm not producing more enough flour that I need to keep my production chains constantly fed. So let's see what we have here. Do we have? I'm feeling. You use all I eat barley. Okay, we have oat, and we can use oat. Alright, so what we're going to do is run a load of oat to the grain mill. This is probably just going to be a little pittance. We really need to do some big boy loads. But this is just something to kind of put a little small band-aid on the wound. I need to come back with a tractor and a big tractor trailer load of wheat or barley, and what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just buy, what we're going to do is lease a trailer real quick and just buy a big time load of this product, go free and feed the grain mill big time, and just because we have no money to do that now, and just hopefully during that time frame that the production chains are working through that product, we can have enough growing in our fields to kind of supplant that process, so we get to the point where I'm producing all of that product myself and no longer have to buy it. Whoa, okay, yeah, this. I kind of pointed that out before. These trucks are still kind of squirrely to drive, but of course I'm kind of driving at a pretty high speed too, but still very squirrely. Go. Let's dump some oat. And while I'm here, I guess I also forgot to. I'm going to again apologize for the issues I've been having from time to time with my streams, whether it be audio issues or issues with the stream just dropping randomly during the stream and me not always being able to catch up with that all the time. And unfortunately, that's a side one of the issues that I'm gonna have when I'm streaming on console is because there's always no pop-ups or indicators or anything like that to let me know immediately if the stream has dropped and everything like that. So if I don't see it, because a lot of times I'm involved in whatever I'm doing on the stream, so I'm focused on that. I'm not always immediately aware of if there's something going on with the stream, because I'm actually in the process of conducting the stream. I'm not always watching it on a secondary device while I'm doing the stream. I try to do what I can, but a lot of times, it's easy to get distracted because you're focused on whatever activities you're doing in the stream, i.e. actually doing the stream, that you don't even realize that all these different things are going on. I try to do my best to keep up with that, but there are times I'm gonna miss it, like I have done a few times, and like what happened last week. We lost the whole basically hour of the stream again last week. I hate it when that happens. It's unfortunate, but I have yet to clearly understand why, especially last month and as of late, we've been having so many connection issues with Twitch. My internet service is pretty good, and I don't think the issue is on my end, so I don't know if there's a problem with Twitch or whatever. All right, but as I was saying, let's go take a look at that. Back to the grain mill is where we want to look next. And where's that? All right, shoot, grain mill. And we dropped off a little oat, so we're gonna have $12,000. 12,000 liters is not gonna do anything really. So we're gonna just go ahead and do this number right here. Let's go see if we can put in some work here. Grab my little semi-tractor trailer here. And this brings to mind, I like to try to do this every week, but can't always do it every week. Just depends on what's going on. But when I do my live, I like to, every episode, try to at least once a week try to highlight some new mods or DLCs that might have came out during the week that are of note, especially if I haven't installed in this game. And in this case, I do. And we're about to touch on that here as we get over to the store. And once again, I have to give a big shout out to 82 Studios and David and another great mod they have here that I already have installed. And let's go, where is it at? It is, well, actually a few, a couple of things I need to point out. Off camera, I have sold my previous fertilizer spreader that I own and installed this mod right here. It's also by 82 Studios. This is a fertilizer spreader, ground driven 6-ton. Just an overall great mod, excellent design. Large capacity fertilizer spreader. It doesn't have the same width as the one I previously uninstalled, but it's still plenty width. But the main issue here is not as much the spreading width as it is the capacity. And you could actually configure it, with an extension 2, or you can have it set to extended standard, so you can have it like the basically unrealistic configuration or realistic configurations. But if you change wheel brand, design, cover, but spreader system standard, extended, and so on and so forth. But this is a great mod. I had to put that one in there. And he also has a salt spreader version of it. Same deal. Extension 2 and extended 25,000. But great mod. But the other mod that he had come out this week that I really want to talk about is, if I can find it here. I may have to go to the trucks, but it should be here too. It's a Max Superliner X. And here's this bad boy here. Beautiful truck. In fact, I think I may be about to install this one right now and trade my current truck in just to get this whole deal going. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll just go through it. And this is, so we're getting rid of the TLX Phoenix momentarily. And wasn't too long ago that I bought that, which is also another great mod by 82 Studios. So we're gonna trade our TLX Phoenix in and upgrade to the Mac. I like it. They're both great mods. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell that bad boy. And we're gonna walk through the purchase of the new Mac Superliner X. So let's get to it. Alright, where we go? TLX Phoenix series and the Mac Superliner X. And we want to grab one of these. Configuration standard, extension 1, extension 2, extension 3, coffin sleeper. And we want the Rigid X2 version. This version allows us to use the X2 accessories that David has. So we want to make sure we use those, have that configuration so that we can use all of the X2 accessories. And we'll touch on that in just a second. Wheels options are Continental, Phoenix, Trilix, Vintage, Burdenstein, Nokian, and Continental. We'll do Continental. Wheel setup standard 2, heavy duty, standard. I like them little heavy duties. The heavy duty looks sick to me. Special edition, silver bullet, black bell, sad bell, copperification, not special edition. Exhaust standard, twin straight with flappers, twin straight angle, twin stacks high, standard. We'll just do the standard for now. Bumper standard 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. Bumper 4, 5, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 9, 5, 10. Standard. Standard's fine. I think. Well, let's see. Is that a hitch on there? Oh yeah, we'll do just the bumper one. Lighting, yes. Chicken lights with logo. What is that changing? Trying to see. Alright. I guess we'll keep the chicken lights with logo. Visor, standard. Drop visor main color. Drop visor design color. Standard drop visor. Standard's fine for now. Vinyls, what are your vinyls? Design 1, design 2, design 3, design 4. Kind of like that bird right there. Alright, yeah, we like that bird. Alright, engine setup, we want to get as much juice as we can afford. I've learned the hard way with that one. So we just walk that back. What's the most expensive engine configuration? That's adds another 21 grand to the price. And that gives us 1,685 horsepower. That is crazy. Do we need that much? I don't think so. But we can always upgrade at a later time. But even then, that's crazy because of it. 21,000 for the full package. Yeah, we'll go ahead and max it out so that horsepower won't ever be a problem. All right. All right. Yeah, man. All right, now for my colors. I'm partial to blue. We all know this. That's my color of choice. Phoenix Blue Gloss is what we cabin details. We still want the blue gloss. Metals, they are fine where they're at. The frame's fine where it's at. Rim color's fine where it's at. License plate, change. ELM Creek. Alright, first type. Front and back. And let's do the usual. Although I don't know what number we're on now. Alright, so Bose. And let's do hyphen 8, 3, and 1. Okay. And we got that bad boy purchased. Now, the point I was making about the X2 accessories, if we go here to the Phoenix DLC a pack, also by 82 Studios, that has the other X2 accessories that are part of the Phoenix pack, the Phoenix series DLC, a mod, and that includes the X2 dumper, X2 tanker, the logger X2, and any of these X2 accessories, the flatbed X2 pallets auto load, X2 mini bells auto load, the Phoenix GB 25 X3. That's new. I didn't even see this bad boy. Now what does this do? Is that for is this like an auger loader here? This is new. 65 grand. Alright. Here's Unreal capacity. 115. Liters, lighting standards, side markers, main color, vinyls. Is that an auger loader? Okay, I don't know about this one. We may have to kind of check this out off stream. I don't want to spend that much money on it till I know exactly what it is. It looks like just an auger trailer loader deal. It has all the it's a bulk trailer. It has all the bulk products down here on as you can see scrolling across the bottom. I'm not sure here. Alright, but that's yeah, but anyway, the semi will use all of the X2 accessories. Oh my. And I could actually now, because I have it configured for actually gonna need to grab one now. Let's go ahead and grab the alright, do I want to try? Well, let's lease it first so I can kind of get an idea of what this bad boy actually does, because I'm very curious now. But this has a pipe, and I don't want that pipe to be something that gets in the way of what I'm trying to do right now. Alright, so we'll lease the dumper. We're not going to do Unreal's 82,000, 21,800. For the purposes of what we're doing now, do we need the standard or the Unreal? We'll go ahead and do the Unreal because I need to minimize the trips since we're on a live. We want standard, we want beacons, photo standards, main color, and everything. All that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and actually buy this bad boy because we'll use this. And this may even eliminate us having to use the other truck. Alright. I'm kind of thinking out loud here. Now we want to buy some pallets of product so that we can go ahead and just feed that into our production chains for flour. So we need to buy some pallets of product. We don't need barley, potato, sorghum, sunflower, wheat. We want to just, I guess, buy some pallets of wheat, of which we already have one sitting there. So let's buy see what 5 or 6 pallets of wheat to get us. That's puts us out. Oh yeah, and the rain stopped, so we can get into the farm, the corn. Woo! Again, struggling with the words this morning. Get into the corn harvest today. Now that the rain stopped. But first, let's go ahead and grab some wheat. As we try to address the bakery production chain issue that we have. And that's the first problem that we want to deal with right now. So we just grab as much wheat as we can afford and try to dump it all into the grain mill so we can have constant wheat production going, which will help over time. Will kind of loosen up some of those bottlenecks in my production chains. At least in theory, that's what we're hoping will take place. And right now we just kind of loading up on wheat. And unfortunately these pallets don't unload super fast, so we just got to take our time here loading up. And since we have this trailer set to the unreal capacity, it can hold up to 82,000 liters. The realistic capacity is about 21,000. And for those of you who watch my past streams, you know my thoughts on realistic play versus unrealistic play, and kind of having a balance between the two. What I like to do is I kind of play in at the end of the day. This is still a game. Yes, it's a simulation game, but it's still an approximation, i.e. simulation of life. So, you know, sometimes you have to use some imagination even when you're playing quote unquote a realistic play. You know, the realism gods aren't going to come smite you if you kind of take some shortcuts here and there in the interest of sanity, time, so on and so forth. You know, because even if you're playing quote realistic, you can't do each and every little task at the exact same way in real life that you would do in the game, or vice versa. So it's all a little give and take as far as that's concerned. But as I also say, you got to play the way that makes you happy. So if that's what makes you happy, so be it. There's technically no right or wrong way to play this game, but you have to play the way that is fun for you. We're gonna go ahead and keep cracking away at these pallets because I'm not gonna waste any trips doing this. So let's do another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Should be enough. So before we make the mistake of having a situation where we're making all these extra trips, I'd rather have too much wheat than too little wheat. So we're gonna max this baby up before I even make a trip out there to the grain mill. So we're gonna fill it all the way up to the 82,000 because there was no purpose in me even setting it to the unreal capacity unless we actually were going to use the capacity number 1, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to keep it going until we get up to that capacity. Alright, I guess we got to move over a little bit so we can get closer so the trigger will activate. There we go. And we're getting there. We're almost there. And while we're waiting on that, I think there was another problem that I mentioned earlier as we were kind of flipping through the screens there. Yeah, that with my digest state's just about maxed out, so we're gonna have to unload that too. So I'm gonna have to lease or buy another trailer for dealing with that, because I could use my 3500 for that, but again, making a bunch of trips, I can make less trips using my semi and a larger capacity trailers. But I don't know if I'll lease that one or buy that one outright. I think I'll lease that one. Okay, get close, 74%. We still need a few more, so let's go. We're still looking at wheat. 1, 2, that's 10,000 liters. Let's see what that leaves us at. And my apologies, I'm not a math guy like that. Even though that's still basic math. 82,000 at 5,000 liters a pop. %, 84. And your math guys have probably already figured out how close this is going to get us. So we'll definitely need one more pallet. And that should do the job. And we could actually do one more pallet, and that's going to be over. That's going to take us over, I believe. just kind of where we were when we started this whole thing, because it was already a pallet of wheat at the store from some stuff I was doing off screen. Super close though, only one little bit there. Alright, so now we're headed back to... Ooh, I love the sounds of this Mac Superliner. Great job, 82 Studios. Great job, David. I love it. That sounds good. Do not be alarmed. It's all under control. Why that sign won't ever fix itself. It always stays down. Don't know why. The Giants, if you're watching, check that out. I don't know what's that. That only seems to happen with that particular sign on this map, and that sign only. All the other signs automatically repair themselves after a period of time, but that one stays down. All right. We're here. Alright. Unload the wheat. $82,000 liters. We still probably won't make that much of a hit to the storage in this grain mill, but we'll see. At least it got it in the green. And we'll go ahead and turn that production on. Alright. And we would probably need to be, that's probably a little over a quarter. So we'd have to do probably 4 82,000 liter loads to max the whole thing out. Now is that in my interest to do so? Probably yes. But is that something I want to do on camera? Probably no. Is that something I might do off camera? Maybe. But that's good to go. Now, just let that production kick in, and hopefully over time that'll get the industrial bakery going, and subsequently increase the demand for the other products that are ingredients of the cake and the bread and whatnot, but especially to get the cake going, because the cakes are the ones that use the strawberries. And that will hopefully kind of provide some relief to some of the production chain bottlenecks that I have right now. Now I think next up we want to adjust the digestate problem we're just taking a peek at. And for that we're going to need a different trailer. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to come over to the farm and we're going to drop this trailer off. Back to the shop. Watch out, little pedestrian guy. Just walking all randomly by his lonesome there. Alright. And let's go. I have to grab that last little flower, but we'll do that off camera. All right, let's go back to the shop. We're gonna go back to the X2 mods. This time we'll go through the regular menu, and we're looking for the X2 tanker this time, because we're gonna move around some digest state. And standard capacity is 18.2. Slurry spreaders at standard it's 18.2. We'll just go ahead and do the tanker main color. And we're gonna grab some digest state. And it just occurred to me that I could have had the bow. Maybe it's a little bit harder to turn when you're going up at speed. But here, let me pull over here. Well, actually, we can do it. I can show you as I'm passing by. I could have had my corn harvest already going while I was doing all this other stuff, because I could have hired a worker and had him kind of chopping away on the corn. This bad boy is kind of hard to turn, and it doesn't even have, I don't even have it loaded up yet. So I can only imagine how hard it's going to be to turn once it has a load. But let's hop on over here to where we intended to start this thing at, and we want to turn on the harvester and go ahead and start chopping up some corn. And what I'm doing here while I'm going this way instead of vertically is because I want to have a little headland here at the top of the field so that the worker can kind of turn around a little more easier when it gets to the top of the field. Hopefully that would allow him to work a little more efficiently without getting all caught up, especially when it gets to these areas where the telephone poles are at. Alright, now I think we can turn our worker loose here. And we're harvesting corn, boys and girls. And I just need to have my trailer on standby for when he fills up. Now, what's in this? Is this one milk or is this one digest state? This one's digest state. That's right, I got that for temporary holding. We're moving. It's for freeing up space from the BGA. I forgot about that as well, so I'll start filling. Alright, so we're going to move digest state from the mini BGA, excuse me, to my production chain, and then that once the production chain's maxed out, that the production chain can't hold, we'll bring it back to the other liquid silo that we have on the farm. Since this baby can hold 182,000, we're going to be sitting here for a little bit. At least the fuel rate on this liquid tanker is a little faster than a lot of them are, because some of them, the models have them set to move pretty slow. It's not lightning fast, but it's not super slow either. Kind of right there in between, which is good. I mean, we'll probably be here for a few minutes, but it won't feel like an eternity. And let's go take a look on the production change screen, the mini BGA. And as you can see, we're barely, even with all of that we're moving around, we're barely doing damage to the full capacity of this this biogas plant. You know, that's almost a million liters of digestate we got there. And I'm still kind of learning as far as precision farming goes, as what are the best practices for producing the best results with precision farming. I still don't know yet, and I've been doing a little bit of testing off camera. What's the best method of practice for if you're going to use digestate as fertilizer versus your standard powder fertilizer. I found just for overall simplicity so far that it's just easier just to use the powder fertilizer, and that's why I kind of was just like reserved to the fact that instead of just using the slurry spreader or the digestate spreaders and doing fertilizing my fields that way, just use the powder fertilizer. And when I found that there were some mods that allowed you to have production change to turn the digestate into powder fertilizer, I was like, okay, that works even better. And then in theory, if you're an environmental guy and you want to play that way, well, if you use digestate to produce your powder fertilizer, that's eco-friendly, so that works out perfectly if that's kind of your mindset. You're pro non-chemical fertilizer, so there you go. All right, so we got this baby loaded up, 182,000 liters of digestate. And now we're headed to our fertilizer factory. And we're going to drop off as much digestate as it will hold. I'm loving them sounds. That's a good job on this mod, man. That brings back, for me, especially me being a older gentleman, it's always good to kind of get on the radio and kind of get a little status check on where Smokey was. That was law enforcement when they were setting up speed traps and whatnot. Always real cool stuff. All right, we got able to dump that whole load into the factory, which is all cool and stuff. That was totally unexpected. I didn't even think I thought the factory didn't have that much of a capacity to it, but it took the entire amount. So we might be able to kind of knock out multiple loads here. So let's go take a look at that factory to see what it's doing. All right. And that's the fertilizer production digestate. Okay, yeah, so it can hold quite a bit. All right. So we can kind of do that and kill two birds with one stone and produce solid fertilizer, which we could then in turn flip that and use that on our fields or sell it for profit. And it's all holistic and earth-based since it's coming from the digestate, so that's all good. Yeah, all right. Egg shipping, wool shipping. Industrial bakery is back in full effect. Notice the red dots are gone, so we're no longer bottlenecked here. We're still having a bottleneck with the strawberries, and that's kind of going to be what it is because, and also we still got a bottleneck with the sugar. So I could probably stand to probably have another bakery set up, but I don't know if I want to push it because not all these productions are created equally, and some products are going to be consumed faster than others. Because, especially when it comes to the strawberries produces at a faster rate because it's a smaller quantity that are used in the production of cake, and probably the same issue with sugar. I just need to produce more product that consumes sugar, or it's just sell my excess sugar outright. So those, for now, we'll leave those two bottlenecked, and I'm not going to really address those problems right now. I could probably throw up another chocolate production point because chocolate uses sugar, and that could probably help to create demand for more sugar. But I got 2 bakeries using sugar for cake. That's plenty enough right now, so I'm not going to worry that much about that bottleneck. All right, so we're almost here. %, 93, 96, 98, 99, 100. And we know there's plenty of space in the storage in the factory for more digestate, so we can kind of probably move all of the excess digestate out of the VGA and into the factory. And since we're kind of multitasking here, that's all good because the worker, it just hit me. I remember we did have a pop-up a few minutes ago about the worker being almost full. I have a feeling that he's already full and just sitting there waiting on me to come help him unload and costing me money. So we're gonna have to flip over and check on that in just a second. Since I don't recall seeing the worker has a full tank pop up come through, but it might have did while I was talking and not paying attention. So while that one's unloading, let's go. Whoops. Open. Actually, we'll use the TLX for this. Not the tractor. We'll use the TLX 3500 for this job. So we're looking out in the cornfield, and yep, the worker has stopped because has a full grain tank. So let's get under here. I guess I forgot to kind of compare capacities because I might have still in my best interest to bring the tractor and the trailer out here in the field. Or use the Max Superliner, but that's elsewhere occupied right at the moment. Yeah, because this is only those 12. Yeah. Alright, so we can go dump that. come back and get another load. Since this is a grain crop, this should be able to go in the standard silo that we have here. Yeah. This is not I don't have a multi-fruit silo on the farm. Okay. Let's go back around to the field. Corn harvesters putting in work. And when it comes back down this way, we can kind of get back over there and let's see, what's the capacity on that harvester? Oh, that's right, it's leased, isn't it? Yeah. We got 12. Oh, it's 12, so it was pretty close. Alright, so that's good. Unload. Alright, that went fast. Alright, let's take a peek. And we're looking for the fertilizer production, digestate. That's solid. Rinse and repeat. So we can move all that product out of the mini BGA and into the factory. And that's good. That's good stuff. I'm just getting all giddy, listening to the sounds of this truck. Love it, love it, love it. All right, grabbing a little bit more digestate. And let's take a look at the mini BGA. We got so many productions now that this menu is getting crazy. All right. Yeah, we're cutting into it right here. Yeah, it's no longer in the red, it's in the green, and we may even kind of empty this bad boy all the way out. I may still do that anyway, since we already have the little liquid tank on the side for keeping this thing clear, and have always, so we have space for productions. It's definitely great to see all this stuff coming together here. Probably the only thing I probably would have done differently is I probably should have positioned this mini BGA a little further out from the cow barn, so that the manure extension and the BGA's triggers weren't colliding, because these two kind of collide together. and both of these are using the same manure point, and that's why you see the same number where you're looking at this what's inside of the extension or what's inside of the BGA. As you see, this says 36,692, and when you go over here to the BGA, it says manure is 36,692. And that's because these two triggers are basically colliding with each other, so they're both reading from the same point. I also don't know for sure because I have the manure heap extension position, if manure from the pigs is also being picked up by this extension or not. I wish the game, when you place these things, it would have like show you an area of effect, so that you could kind of more accurately know what the scope or what's the best placement for these extensions and silos that work that way were. Same thing with the beehives. When you place beehives, I wish the game actually showed you an area of effect so that you can more accurately place them as well. That's on the wish list, I guess, for Giants, because those are all things that should be, really basic features that are on a lot of games, similar type games. You shouldn't have to guess, where to place buildings sometimes, especially if it can have an impact on gameplay. All right, harvester's almost ready to blow. He's all filled up. So we're coming back around, headed to the factory, and at some point, if I'm paying attention, I should get a pop-up in a few minutes indicating that the workers' grain tank is full. Worker has a full grain tank. So let's get the superliner in position for unloading. Boom, got that going. So we'll flip over and unload the corn first. This has been great. This has been a busy stream, having a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to talk about. These are the ones that I like. Of course, I like it all because I love Farming Simulator. It's always fun. Excuse me, to share what I do, because I do a lot. I play this game quite a bit. I spend a lot of time, a ton of more time off camera playing this game. This is one of my favorite games. I love other types of games, but this one is the one that takes up all my time. Even though I love other genres of games and play other types of games, including right now, outside of Farming Simulator, I have another playthrough I'm doing on Jurassic World Evolution 2. I still, as I indicated in my profile, I play Red Dead Redemption Online, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto, although I've kind of gotten away from that as of late. And I'm also big into sports games, playing a lot of NBA 2K22 off camera. And I was talking and driving and totally lost my train of thought there and forgot where I was going and all that good stuff. But long story short is I consider myself a hardcore gamer, although though I've been playing gaming since really almost since the beginning of gaming. I go back to the days of Pong. I even at one point in time, my family did rent. Not we didn't own it, but we did. I did have one of the old school systems, Odysseys 2, which was one of the first gaming systems even before all the Atari and all that stuff came out. Sega. I owned the Sega Master System at one time. I've owned the Atari 2600. My main gaming system during the old school days though was the ColecoVision. I even at one point in time owned the steering wheel accessory for the ColecoVision. I forget what that was now. We're called now, and I even had briefly on the Atom Computer add-on for the ColecoVision. But yeah, I'm that old school when it comes to gaming and console gaming. That's why I kind of chuckle now at the folks in this whole console war thing, because gaming is so much more than that, And this whole debate between PC and console, to me, that all kind of makes no sense, because all games are designed on the PC at the end of the day. So console is just a different platform for gaming, and it's just a specific platform that makes it easier for your game, so that your cost of entry into gaming doesn't have to make you don't have to have this hardcore commitment to the hardware. That's all that is. Whether you want a game on a PS5 or Xbox or whatever, it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just whatever games you like, that's the system, and that system that you choose the game on has those games, and that's what you play on, and all this stuff about which one's better. But that's kind of decidedly more of an American thing. People in America by nature tend to be competitive with each other, sometimes to the point of where it's a detriment. But it's always like, okay, I own, like, for example, I own this truck. Well, this guy owns a truck. Well, this truck's made by Ford. This truck's made by Dodge. But the Dodge guy wants to justify his purchase, so he'll say, okay, well, Dodge is better than Ford. And a lot of times it's the same trucks with similar horsepower, similar features. It's just a question of which, you be like this, the style of the Dodge, the look of the Dodge, while the Ford guy might like the style of and look of the Ford. But they'll compete and argue that whole point up and down about which one's better, because that's the one I spent money on. And that's just how it is sometimes with folks. When it comes to the gaming, it's all about justification for that plastic box that you got. But they're all, at the end of the day, they're all plastic boxes, and if you enjoy gaming on this plastic box versus that plastic box, then that's you, and that's what it is. It's like I say on my streams, it's whatever makes you happy. If you happy gaming on the PS4 or a PS5, then knock it out. I happen to be an Xbox gamer. At one point in time, I've owned, during the PS3 generation, I owned at one time on the PS3, the Xbox, and the GameCube. And I just found, it was cool. I've always never really had an issue with having enough money to buy all the systems. It's just that, I have a life outside of gaming, and I can't. I just don't have the time to be gaming on all these different systems, playing all these different games, and these different platforms. Yeah, there's some great games out there on PlayStation. They're mostly single-player experiences, but there are, some obviously great games out there. So, but I just don't have the time, really. I'd like to get into the Spider-Man game and play that, because I've heard and seen great things on it. And at some point, I may eventually get a PS5 and play Spider-Man, although the recent announcement about the game coming to PC kind of changes my thoughts on that. I might just wait for it to come on PC and play it on PC, and get into it that way. And there's certain genres of games I'm not that much into, like some of the other games that people always kind of, go on about that are on the PS5. I probably never play some of those games, because those are not genres or types of games that I'm really that interested in. Even when it comes to games like God of War, I have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I think is a great game, but You know, those are not the kind of games I'm really into like that per se. I'll play them a little bit and they're cool, but that's just not my primary type of game to play. Even though one of my favorite games of all time is The Witcher 3. That game is phenomenal, and I hope that at some point CD Projekt Red kind of redeems themselves for the kind of fiasco that was Cyberpunk, even though they did kind of clean it up after the fact. And what we have now as far as Cyberpunk is concerned is much better than where we started out at. I do hope they kind of come back and revisit the Witcher series in this next generation, but one of the other things that gamers are not understanding with this next generation of games now is we kind of I thought I saw some other corn stalks here that we didn't get. But as we get into this next generation of gaming, this development cycle, which folks are really not understanding, and Microsoft recently just took a big hit, you know, about people because they announced that there were going to be delays in Starfield, and I forget the other game now, but the developers basically came out and said, you know, that the games were originally announced that they were supposed to release before this year was out. Now they're pushed those dates back and say these games will come out in 2023. But the whole point is that as we get into this next generation, the development cycle on these games is going to be crazy now because of what you can do with these games, and it's just going to take the developers more time to put these games out. And then they're I'm sure a lot of them are kind of scared about, especially after what happened with the whole Cyberpunk thing. You know, they're going to be very cautious about rushing out games, I think, in the future. You know, and gamers may kind of rant and rave and kind of continue with this whole war thing, console war thing, which to me as a military guy, that's kind of oxymoron too. There ain't no war, you know, between people arguing online about their preference for a particular piece of plastic, man. That's not a war. That's a debate, and it's a weak debate at that, you know. And that's on both sides of it. But I digress. But as I was saying though, we're in a whole new generation now, whole new time. You know, these games are more complex than ever. It's, you know, these teams are larger than ever, and it's going to take years now, and that's going to be the norm for any of these games to kind of come out and be produced. You know, I think we're at a point now in this era where you're not going to have a game that's produced in, you know, every 3 or 4 years. So I think these development cycles, we're getting to the point now where you're going to have games that take, you know, 4, 5, 6 years to be produced, because the elements in these games are just crazy with all the technology we have at our disposal now. I'm just coming from the old school. I just think a lot of these kids now, they don't really appreciate what they have. You know, I come from an era or generation, you know, where, you know, seeing, you know, a couple of like little blocky characters on the screen, you know, was, you know, freaking, you know, game changing, you know. So what you got now, all this photorealistic stuff, and these people just take it for granted. You know, it's like what we're looking at here now. This is incredible. You know, from where we've come in such a few short years, as far as gaming is concerned, this stuff is incredible, and people just don't realize how incredible this is. To even have what we have now, like what we're looking at here in this farming simulator game. Who could have imagined that we would be this far, this fast? You know, I'm very appreciative of these developers. I understand the hard work that it takes to go into these games. I work in a segment of technology, and I'm aware of some of the work that it takes to develop, you know, systems. And also, you know, the sector that I work, you know, we actually do quality assurance testing, and it's a complicated beast. You know, I don't work in the private sector anymore. I'm actually in the public sector, you know, but I have worked in the private sector for a large contractor at one point in time, and I had my experience with that, and I know how, you know, both sides of the industry work. So I have a better understanding than most on, you know, some of the things that go into the development cycle and process. All right, but let me get off a soapbox here because I really got off on a tangent there. All right, so we got the corn harvest done. We need to hop back over to the digestate factory and go ahead and continue the fertilizer factory, excuse me. Dumping that out. All right, that's good to go. One thing I also did not look at, since we're in the month of October, is I need to check the prices to see if we had any productions that are good for selling in October. And we'll check that out here right before we kind of get off now, because we're kind of rapidly approaching the end of time for my stream today. Let's go set the tanker up and go grab another load of digestate. Woo! Coming in there hot and fast. She won't turn when you're going that fast as easily. Start filling. Alright. Do I own a mulcher? Kinda, yeah, okay, I do own a mulcher. I actually own two. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this real quick. Mulching is something that you don't have to do after you harvest a crop, but it will give a small bonus to your crop yield, but you have to kind of do it like right after you harvest. And in fact, I think I missed one on the oat crop over there. I don't even know if it'll let me do it now because there's a few days have passed since I did that one, but I'm also going to do it after the corn. Have a worker do it, apparently. So let's chop through one pass, and then we'll stop and take a look at the filters and see what we're working with. Alright, so we did one pass, stop there, look at the filter. Alright, so it's showing mulch, so that's definitely a thing, but I can't really clear cut see on screen where the lines are, so I can tell what areas I've mulched and what areas I have not. So there's nothing, no visual indicator on screen. I have to look at the filters to kind of see. And I don't even see that on the little heads-up display to your left there. Alright. So maybe we can knock this out real quickly before the end of the stream. And then And the reason why I brought up mulching is because I was going to do this after the corn harvest, because it just hit me that I didn't do it after the oat harvest. I don't even know if mulching has a benefit on the sugarcane field or not as well. I guess we can technically do mulching on any field after the harvest, I guess. I'm not 100% on that. But it basically gives you a better base for your crops. And just chopping up the grass over here around the field as well. The grass is one of those crops that automatically grows back, even the wild, quote unquote, wild grass that surrounds your fields. Technically, if I wanted to, as long as that grass is on land that I own, I could, in theory, cut all of that grass and harvest that grass and use that grass for whatever purpose I need to. So this is where it looks like we end up ending the stream at today, is with me going through and doing mulching on all of my fields that I've recently performed harvests on. And just keeping an eye on my sugar cane, because again, it is my understanding now, after doing some additional reading on sugarcane, that sugarcane is one of those crops that is supposed to grow back automatically. But taking into consideration, it's not going to start growing until you get to that particular season on the calendar. Oops. That's not on me, that's on the guy driving the van. You see me there with the tractor, you have to have awareness that I'm there and I have the right of way. He just kind of ran right into me. The AI vehicles in this game, and just the AI in general, still leaves a lot to be desired. The vehicles in this game that you see, the traffic, I like to have it turned on because it kind of adds a small element of life to the map and everything. But the vehicles are basically just autonomous drones, and they're not even that aware. And I don't know why per se, and I guess somebody with maybe more technical expertise on the technologies involved could explain to me why Rockstar, that does the GTA games, seems to be able to have more robust AI vehicles in their games than any other development company seems to be able to produce, because it seems like all the other companies have a lot of issues with that. But the Rockstar games, the GTA games, they're able to have AI vehicles actually exhibit pretty realistic behavior. But none of the other companies seem to be able to get that quite right, because even the CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, kind of struggle with that. They've obviously improved in the updates to the game since its release. But it's just crazy how Rockstar kind of has the AI vehicles, and they, do all kind of stuff. Same thing with the random people just walking around. They seem to be more lifelike and reactive, and kind of have their own intelligence to them. But seems like no other game company has really kind of figured that stuff out yet, like the way Rockstar has. right. And we're coming up on the last 10 minutes or so of the stream. Since I started late, I'm probably gonna go overtime a few minutes just to kind of make up the difference, so we can kind of have a good solid 2 hours, a little hair over 2 hours stream time. And just want to say again, if you're tuned in and watching this live today, or pick me up after on YouTube, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, like my content, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you appreciate. Let me know what you don't. And I'll continue knocking this stuff out. I love what I do. I love playing Farming Simulator. I love gaming in general. And just continue to have fun doing it, And as my saying always goes, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? We're just going to ride this little mulching bit right on out today. And I think what I also do is just kind of finish up mulching these other fields off camera. So when we come back in next time, we'll pick up from there. I'm kind of going to need to do a reset to see where we are after that. I'm not quite sure what my next moves will be, but definitely probably now that we have a significant balance in our bank account, also want to take a look at expanding our farm operations. Because now that we got enough money, making enough money now, we're kind of ready to grow and get into the big times. So get into that big budget farming and a more big time farming operation, because we have enough money now. We're like, look, Mom and Pa, we're millionaires now. All right. Look, all right. Getting a little dysfunctional with my controls there. And I don't know why the worker doesn't like this field. It won't run the mulcher on it for me. I don't know if that has something to do with me not doing it like right after the harvest or what. And I'm also curious as to whether or not doing so now instead of right after harvested will have a negative impact on the bonus that you get from mulching. And the other cool thing about what I'm doing now is this mulching is also kind of chopping up the weeds that come up after the harvest. But I'm sure they'll grow back, and that'll give me an opportunity to come back through with the herbicide sprayer and get that precision farming bonus as well. So let's get that and turn around and down. See, and that's what I keep having. I keep getting confused with the buttons. I also kind of sometimes wish there was a hotkey on console for hiding all of the game menus. Sometimes it's useful to see them, and sometimes it would just be cool to kind of have a button to press to hide everything. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure there's probably a button press somewhere for that on console. I don't know what it is on Xbox, but it's probably just one of those hidden things, like the game doesn't tell you specifically what other controls for turning on the lights or the hazards or anything. That's just one of those things you kind of have to find out for yourself, and it's not in the menu. And that's also kind of a weird design choice by Giants, but hey, it is what it is. It's kind of been one of those things that's kind of been a constant with these farming simulator games since the beginning, and just carries over each generation. Because I mean, I don't even remember now where I think I got it from online, where the tips were on how to turn on the beacons. And Xbox is holding the right bumper and pressing up on the pad, and that gives you your beacons. Yeah, when I turn it off, it's the same keystroke. To turn on your lights, it's the right bumper and B. But this is stuff you wouldn't know without having to look it up. That's something that should be in the game menu as well, at least in the controls menus or something. Alright, but I'm sorry, digressing again. Just little tweaks here and there in the game that could be done. Just talking about right there. I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Because I'm just trying not to chop up the grass on the outskirts of the field, because it looks weird to me. And again, that's my OCD kicking in when I come around to the field and see some of the grass is growing, and then some of the grasses around the field is all chopped up or lower. It just kind of looks tacky to me, and I know it's just a thing in my head, but my head is a weird place sometimes. Alright. A few more passes and we'll have this field knocked out. And like I said, since we're here, I'll probably go ahead and do this one. I'll probably do the mulching on the sugarcane field as well. I don't know if it's needed or required for sugarcane, but I'll just go ahead and do it on all of my fields anyways, just for good measure, I guess. I don't have any firm or solid direction on if it's required or anything like that. I just do it just because. Just because I don't know for sure. And if it adds benefit to the harvest, cool. If it doesn't, also cool. Because the mulching bonus is not anything crazy, but it's still a bonus nevertheless. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's either 2.5% or 5%. I've seen different numbers on that online as well. We'll kind of take it for what it is and be happy with whatever number we can get. All right, let's see. Kind of interesting that you're still seeing the weeds cutting through with the mulching, but that's all right. But like I said, it's kind of hard to see. I don't know, like the on screen doesn't give you clear-cut visual indicators as what's mulched and what's not mulched. And if it wasn't for the weeds on the field, I wouldn't have a visual indication at all of where I'm at on the field. So I don't know whether I'm drawing straight lines are not all the time. But thankfully, the weeds are here to kind of give me some kind of guidance. I wish the game provided me better visual guidance as to what's mulched and what's not. That's lower. All right. But we're chopping it up either way. All right. So 40 is in theory mulched. I'm not gonna kind of go back and see what's going on with those mist spots where you still see green for weeds. Let's go ahead and go to sugarcane field and see if we can do the same. And if we try to hire a worker here, he does want to mulch. Okay. And I can kind of see, no, I lied. Still can't tell the difference between mulched and unmulched. But at least the workers can see it. And if we go take a look, oh, the field says needs plowing too. Yeah. So that's something we're gonna have to take a look at as well. So with it, and in precision farming, plowing hurts your environmental score. So how do we address that, I wonder, in the precision farming universe? Because there are instances when you're going to need to plow, especially for certain crops. Also see over here, I don't even know. I was just looking here at the other field talking about rolling. All right. That's a sugar cane. Oh yeah, there it is right there. pH bad, nitrogen bad. So yeah. This field will need both lime and fertilizer. So we're gonna plow it and do weeds medium, needs rolling. Too late for rolling now. So we're just gonna ignore the little rolling indicator. Rolling is also something that has to be done right after harvesting, I believe. But again, I don't know if precision farming has broken the whole rolling functionality. While I'm at that, I'm looking at my grapes. The grapes say withered. If we come through here and run the pruner through that, does that change what the grapes say? Let's see. No, they still say withered. So I don't know. All right. So if I run the pruner through the grapes, that's So I'm still puzzled on some of this stuff with the grapes. When are you supposed to prune? What's your indicator on pruning? I don't know. Because I ran it like, attempted to run it like right after my harvest, and I didn't get anything that told me anything whatsoever. So there was no way for me to know if I was doing anything or just wasting my time. Still says withered. I don't know. Let me go to the help on the grapes. This is what it tells you. All right. Once grown, looking at the last paragraph there where you see the picture of the pruner. Once grown, harvest your olives grapes with special new Holland tools. Make sure, and take them to your production plant or sell them. Remember to prune the grapevines at the harvest with the leaf cutter to prepare them for the next season, allow them to grow anew. The step is not required for olives, but that's as vague as clear as mud. Because I tried to run it right after, nothing happened. Nothing indicated as such that I was doing anything or that running the pruner was providing any benefit or detriment or anything. So with the grapes, I don't know what's happening there right now. All right. So it is what it is. All right. Anywho. So I'm going to go ahead and mulch this field and mulch my cornfield, field 50. We'll go ahead and do that, have that work done off camera. When we come back in, we're gonna pick it up from there. I don't think I'll get into doing any of the liming or plowing or anything else off camera. What I may also do is go ahead and tend to my animals and all of that good stuff off camera today, including the horse riding. You know, you guys don't necessarily want to see that, or maybe you do, but I do most of that off camera. And also feeding the pigs and the cows, just because we already knocked out the chickens earlier in the stream, and we already took care of the greenhouses with the exception of water. So I'll go ahead and do that stuff off camera, and we'll kind of pick up from there next stream. This is where we cut it off because I was about 10 minutes late, so we ran about 10 minutes over. So again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Appreciate you tuning in. Love your support. Love you. Keep rocking with me, and I'll rock with you. We'll keep this thing moving. Like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? Let's continue the game on. See you next stream. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day, night, or whatever time of day, year, whatever it is, where you're at on this planet Earth. Catch up with you later. This is Bose 831 Gaming on Farming Simulator 22, and I'll catch up with you later.